90s night. Yes, this is our first opportunity to see the Phoenix Suns wearing those beautiful purple unis that we remember back from the 1992-1993 NBA season. And what better way to debut them than on a Tuesday night on TNT, playing the defending champion, the Golden State Warriors. Matthew, the team is now 3-1. It was a thorough ass kicking of the Warriors after a very interesting third quarter. And I have no doubt, my friend, I have no doubt we will get some Warriors trolls in here to let us know that they've won championships in the past decade. Yeah, we get it. You've won championships. You haven't won one yet this year. So, and by this year, I mean this season. So, that's all I got to say.
You know what? The Warriors came in here and they basically just came and said, hey, you guys are bums. And they left, all right? They didn't get the W. They got the L, but they don't give a shit. They did what they want to do. They just came in here and got 10 technicals, and they're out of here. They're fine. This is what they're going to do all year. They don't give a shit. They know that if they're together at the end of the year, it doesn't matter.
It's game 4, right?
Great game. Yeah. Up, down, just nonstop. It was the first half was insanely fun to watch.
Yes. What a fun game to watch. That's I was thinking about it as I was watching that second quarter, because what was the score at halftime? It was like 72-69, something like that. Very high scoring, a lot of great offense. And I was thinking at the time, as I'm taking notes, as I do during the game, as I go, no matter what happens in this game, I'm excited because we saw some great things from the Phoenix Suns. This was entertaining basketball above all else. This is entertaining basketball. You know, you can sit there and you can watch those games. And it's like 35-32 at halftime. It's two of the best teams in the NBA. The defense is amazing, but it's like watching a pitching duel in baseball. You can respect it, but is it entertaining? Not really. Whereas this one, it's up and down the court. It's great players playing against each other. And had we lost this game, I still wouldn't have been disappointed because I saw a lot of really good things from the Phoenix Suns. It just so happens that they went out there in the second half and they completely dominated and end up winning by, I mean, what was the final score, Matthew? I don't even know. I walked away in
It was a 134-107, right?
Sure.
105. Almost. Yeah.
So they beat them by 29 points is what you're telling me. 29 points. I'll take it. We just beat the Clippers and we beat the Warriors. Again, does it mean anything come playoff time? No. But how would you be feeling if they had lost to both those games?
You know what? It's going to be like this all season long. It really is. Like, no matter what happens during the regular season, it does not matter. Just getting the W's is all that matters, no matter how it looks. And this one looked good, and it was an amazing watch.
It was an amazing watch. Amazing basketball tonight. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast. My name is John. His name is Matthew. And we're here after every game to give you the best post-game podcast on Planet Orange. A few housekeeping notes. If you're hanging out here and you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button. Let everyone know what you're doing. Give us a little one of those thumbs ups, okay? If you're listening, subscribe, rate, and review. If you're on Apple Pods, leave a 5-star review. And I will say, if you're a betting person,
the Suns Jam Session.
Bet on it. Bet on it. Bet on it. Bet on it.
Bet on it. Brought to you by Sahara Bets, the newest place to win some money.
So yeah, Sahara Bets is someone we have a partnership with right now. Every morning before a game begins, we have a Suns Jam poll parlay. And today, we put it out there and we said, okay, the line was 2.5. The over-under was 225. We said, vote, comment, let us know if, what you think is going to happen in this game. 54.5% of our Jamsters voted that the Suns would cover the 2.5 spread and it would be over 225.
Yes.
And a shout out to @theBoyJerome32. He is our winner. He's going to win some free bets on Sahara Bets. So we will be reaching out to you. And another thing is every game, if you go on the app, the Sahara Bets app, download the game. They're actually going to be doing a Suns Jam boost where they're boosting odds for Suns games. Go get that money from us to you. Go get it. Free money right there. So again, shout out to got to pull up the name again. Shout out to @thatboyJerome32 on Twitter. Make sure you follow us on Twitter @SunsJam. You can follow Matthew on Twitter
@Matthew Lissy.
You can follow me on Twitter @DarthVoida. Follow Sahara Bets @Sahara Bets. What are you drinking tonight, Matthew? You got to have a celebratory beverage, right?
Just water, man. Just some water. This one, I was exhausted. I had to stay hydrated the whole time.
Well, I stay hydrated the whole time so I can enjoy one of those delicious long drinks, cranberry long drink. It's the Finnish beer. It's a gin with natural cranberry. So pop them if you got them, my son's friends. Let's talk about this amazing game against the Golden State Warriors. Done in Phoenix, Arizona tonight. Your Phoenix Suns win by a total score of 134-105 against the Golden State Warriors, which, as always, brings me to my first question.
Matthew, I got to ask.
Matthew, I got to ask. And I know we're going to talk about a lot, and this is going to be a great pod. There's a ton to talk about with this game.
A lot.
Valley jerseys, these throwback jerseys.
You know what? The first year, the Valley jerseys for sure. That year was spectacular to me. I know a lot of people can go back to the 90s and say that's their favorite team that's ever played. So, yeah, it's their favorite jersey. But last year or 2 years ago, it's like my favorite team to watch in a long time. I'm going to go with those. Tonight looked good. Kind of wanted the court to go with it. It looked fine. It looked fine, but it's cool. I'm not super excited, but it's cool.
It's fun. Yeah, I wish they did a throwback. Had they done a throwback with it, I think it would have been just next level. Really would have popped. It's kind of going back and forth in the chat. Some people are saying purple royalties. Some people are saying the Valley jerseys. It's interesting because you kind of had an opportunity to see the juxtaposition between the two, because they'd have some of the Phoenix Suns standing there on the court and they're wearing those jerseys, obviously those 90s throwbacks. And then you had some people in the crowd who were wearing the Valley jersey. And I'm sorry, this is the Phoenix Suns. Purple rules. Purple rules. I love those 90s jerseys because of the purple. That's why I've always liked those better than the black ones. I got the black one hanging up right behind me. Right?
Yeah, that was a free one, right?
Yeah, my staff bought that for me when I went to a game one time. Yeah.
And you spit in their face.
And I said, I'm quitting.
Go give me a fucking beer.
I'm like, I'm quitting. No, but like I love those sunburst jerseys when they're purple because that's the Phoenix Suns, man. And I think I said on the last podcast, what makes those uniforms so beautiful and clean is it's the perfect balance of both purple and orange. It's not like just there's a ton of purple and some orange trim or orange numbers. Like I like the white numbers because it pops on the back. I love everything about it. I love seeing them on the court today. And then obviously to see them perform in the manner in which they did was something that was just absolutely spectacular. It's something. They came out, great start in that first quarter. They put together an 11-0 run. In that first quarter, they scored 37 points, Matthew. They were 11 from 24 from the field, 5 of 9 from beyond the arc. And then they held the Warriors to under 30. What was your feeling after you kind of saw that first quarter and how the game was shaping up to be?
It was nice. I was actually excited for both teams. It was one of those games, like you mentioned in the beginning, where if we were to lose, I'd be like, you know what? I don't care, because this is a series. If it were to happen in the playoffs, like it should have happened last year, but I trust this team a little bit better, just maybe because it's new. I just think it's going to be like a 7-game series no matter what, because they get up and down. The defense in the beginning was not being played towards the end of like the second quarter. They were just having the hardest time because it's early in the season. They're trying to get their legs underneath them, but no one was guarding the paint. Free dunks for anybody. Coaches couldn't be too mad because I feel like the defensive effort was there in the first quarter. Second quarter, not so much, because I think they were just so fucking tired. But what's really nice is the Suns could just match them, right? Before Clay was thrown out, we were matching what they had with their starter lineup. We were matching their depth in their second unit. The Suns look good. The Suns can keep up with them. They went to Ayton early, which was nice.
Yes.
Get him involved early. Booker looked good, of course. Chris Paul's shot was falling. So everything was kind of coming into sync in a perfect time. When you got those purple jerseys on, you have the Warriors there. The crowd, you can hear some of the Warriors fans there. So it's kind of like, Phoenix is a nice place to live. So it's kind of a compliment. So you kind of block that out. But dude, I think the Suns were exceptionally great from start to end. I mean, anytime the Warriors came back and cut it close in the first half, in the first quarter, the Suns would pull back out and take the lead, whether it's the bench or the first unit. So that's something, the depth on this team is a big question, but I feel like they kind of gave us an answer there in the first quarter, maybe second quarter.
Well, and just the whole first half, right? The whole first half itself was just some really fun basketball to watch. As I mentioned, after everything was said and done in the first half, it was 72 to 66. But to your point, Matthew, this is a good measuring stick. The Clippers were a good measuring stick too. The Clippers were a good measuring stick for the Phoenix Suns to say, hey, how can you perform offensively when you're going against a team that just has some size relative to wing play? Because that chunks people up. And what's going to make the Los Angeles Clippers successful throughout the regular season is you're going to catch them on a Sunday night. You're not in a 7-game series. So you're not game planning for their athleticism in the wing position. And the Suns passed that test in flying colors. This game was, from a more of a competitive and experiential standpoint, this is a team that is very similar to the Phoenix Suns, because when we talked about the Clippers, we're like, this is a team, like, watch them at the end of the season because they don't have any chemistry. We're playing against a team in the Warriors that have chemistry. They mirror the Phoenix Suns because their core has been together for a long time. What was exciting, and one of the big question marks we had entering this season, was the bench. Is to see the way that the bench performed in the first quarter, heading into the second quarter against the Warriors bench. Because if you were to ask any Warriors fan, and trust me, I'll talk about it a little bit on subreddit Stakeout a little bit later, but they are very unconfident in their bench as well, because their bench is a young bench. And the Phoenix Suns, as much as we have, and me personally, have been frustrated and worried about what this bench is going to look like coming into the season, they are a veteran bench. And we saw that tonight, and we saw some of that cohesiveness, even with some new parts that really excelled and carried those leads and not only held them defensively, but could provide their own offense, and really did a great job of extending that lead. To your point, Matthew, anytime they get close, the Suns could just stay that far ahead of them. And I mean, the Warriors came out and they tied it at one time. It was like 55-55, and they got close in the second half for a very little bit, and then team took off.
And Blaze Megatron brought it up. Another great point by him, like always. Poole was really the only reason it was close early. He was lighting up our bench. True, like the way Poole plays, he can basically pull away or cut the lead short by himself. Super quick. I think in 6 minutes he had 12 points right away. So of course, it's Poole, and it's the broadcast loves Poole, and he just, when he makes his shots, they look so great. They're kind of like Steph-esque in a way, right? And a little bit. He's kind of in the middle of a Clay and Steph. It just looks nice. It looks pretty. He has a pretty game like Steph. So coming off the bench, it's tough to defend that. And like you said, they have like the other guy, like Jonathan Kuminga. Kuminga's a guy where they don't know if he's going to pan out or not. Like there's little spurts, there's some effort there, but then not always. So it's like, yeah, they do have questions. And then also the Suns had questions like Payne and Craig, and they came through. So it's kind of like the Suns kind of answered a lot of their own questions. And then like the Warriors kind of were just like, we don't know yet. Like, but then again,
but it's game 4 of the season,
it's
right?
game
like
4.
These are the things that we're learning. And again, there's going to be down performances, and we'll be right here to be with the down performances and be frustrated by them. But there were some performances tonight that I thought were absolutely fantastic from the starters and the bench. But let's start with the starters. I think you can't talk about this game without talking about Devin Armani Booker.
Big Dick Booker.
Here we go. Another great stat line from Devin Booker in this game. He played 35 total minutes. He was 10 of 19 from the field, 3 of 8 from beyond the arc, 11 of 14 from the free throw line. He ended with 34 points. He had 7 assists and 2 rebounds. He did have 3 turnovers, but he also had 3 steals, Matthew. Where do you even start with Devin Booker? Because he won the mind game, because this was a mind game. And you saw it come to fruition, obviously, in the third quarter that ultimately led to the rejection of Klay Thompson. And that's a direct result of Devin Booker, because Klay Thompson, he's a great defender, and he was trying to lock up D-Book, and he started to talk some shit. And you know what? Devin Booker started talking some shit too, because he don't care. He ain't got no friends. And that was the tipping point of the game.
It comes down to basically how last year ended. I feel like this is going to happen a lot this season where the Suns are going to get a lot of shit talked to. And if Booker went over the line, I don't know what he said, but I think post game he was saying how he loves Clay, but when they compete, it's something different. And it's hard not to watch the post game after this one, right?
I know, right?
From TNT. I'm like,
yeah.
It's tough, but Booker does, he's going to talk shit all the time. The thing is, like, coming into the season, I'm kind of like, can we quietly just go through the season, win our games, get to the playoffs, and then hit it? But Booker's not that way. Booker is going to talk shit no matter what. When Clay is struggling, he had 2 points and he had 2 technicals tonight. It's going to suck. It's going to get in his head. But the thing is, I think there's going to be these games where, like, Draymond and Clay, they're just going to do shit like this.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if someone pisses them off, they're like, wait, I can get ejected and it doesn't fucking matter. I know if I get ejected, it's not going to hurt my team. It's not going to hurt the chemistry.
Because it's
not going to hurt.
Game.
Exactly. And I don't know if not Steph Curry. If I guess if Steph Curry or even like their head coach, what the fuck is his name? Steve Kerr will even care. Like, you think Steve Kerr's gonna even give a shit?
No,
I don't know.
He
might not.
Fuel to the fire.
Yeah, but then also it's like, I think these guys can get away with a lot. It wasn't so long ago where they actually were coaching the game towards the end of the game, 3 years ago against the Suns. So they can do a lot of what they want. Booker, I think he was fine. He didn't get too heated. He didn't get too crazy as Clay, but he can't. I think he has to stay there for his team. He did the right thing. The only thing that I think he's going to kill himself over tonight are those free throws, the 3 free throws he missed.
Yeah.
You can tell when he misses those free throws because he's a perfectionist. He wants to make sure that those are sticking. And when they're not, dude, if they're not going down, he's having a rough night. Just even though the box score looks good, he's so precise about those free throws. He wants to make sure they go in. And when he went down the floor earlier in the game, I was like, what the fuck? When it looked like he got hurt.
I know.
Then he was fine. He came back.
Too.
Yeah, and he scored 5 points right after. So I'm like, okay, he's fine. But then I hope I don't hear anything where it's like Booker's out 2 weeks. You know what I mean? That always happens. It's like we always see something and it's like, oh, Booker's out 2 weeks or Cam Johnson's out. You know what I mean? So I hope that doesn't happen.
That was a scary moment. When Booker went down, he grabbed at his knee and he was limping for like 3 or 4 possessions. I was just like, ah, shit. Because if you remember last year, early in the season, remember he got hurt against the Warriors. It's one of those big games. It was in December, I want to say. It was one of those big games. We're all very excited for it. And he went down early and we're just like, shit. And that's the first thing that went through my mind was the fact that, oh, great, Devin Booker getting hurt in the national spotlight. And, we just got to kind of navigate this over the next few games and figure out what's going to happen. But then I looked down at the box score and simply in the first quarter alone, Booker went 3 of 6 from the field and had 10 points. I was like, okay, he had 16 points at the half. I was like, okay, Book is cooking. He's going to be just fine. Again, I think the important thing here to note is the fact that Devin Booker versus Klay Thompson is something we need more of in this NBA. One of the reasons that we love Devin Booker is his competitiveness, to your point, right? Like, he misses free throws, he's pissed off about that.
Yeah.
He's pissed at that. And you heard him. And, fuck, like, he's pissed. But he doesn't have friends. He's too busy hanging out with the Kardashians, man. He's not like hanging out at camps with guys and going, spending the off seasons with them. He's one of those old school NBA competitive guys. That's why he's got a little bit of that Mamba mentality, right? He's got that kind of just that competitive factor that you want in a player like who's your franchise player. The guy who's now averaging 32.5 points per game and through the first 4 games of the season. A guy who's for the first time in the history of this franchise, in the 55th year, to score 30 points in the first 4 games of the season. I said it before the season began. We're entering prime Devin Book season, and he's not feathering it in. He's coming out competitive. He's going right at the opposition. And I love that, Clay and Booker yelling at each other and just talking shit the whole time. That's basketball, man. That's the basketball that I grew up when the Suns were wearing these jerseys, the 90s jerseys, man. That's what it's about. You look at the Klay Thompson side of this. He was 1 of 8 from the field, 0 of 5 from deep, and he only scored 2 points. And per ESPN stats, Klay Thompson shot 0 for 4, including 0 from 3 from 3-point range when Devin Booker was his primary defender tonight before his first career ejection. So Devin Booker was locking him up. And then Klay Thompson had that 2 consecutive possessions in that third quarter, which there were 7 technical fouls in that third quarter. I mean, it started to get chippy real bad and real quick. and the text started flying, and we knew it was coming. We're like, oh shit. But leading up to that point, Devin Booker, Klay Thompson shut him down on a couple possessions, but Devin Booker shut him down all game. And I think he let him know that, and I think Klay Thompson just couldn't stop. And, when you start to have to flash your rings and remind everybody that you got the rings, it's like, yeah, they hit that next level, right? They hit that next level where it's like that's your only defense.
Yeah, and I kind of wish it didn't get that far, like blown out of proportion, because I kind of wanted them just to stick around and keep playing. I loved it.
Yeah, I wanted it going back and forth.
I'm like, just meld it out a little bit. That way you don't get kicked out. I want to see them go head to head, and I want to see if Klay can get like a little heat, like going in a shot just a little bit to see if he can heat up a little bit, and then him and Booker go back and forth. I wanted to see that. I want it to be like the old 2-guard that was the best in the NBA versus now the current best 2-guard, which of course is kind of like it's kind of a gone position. It's not even a real position anymore.
That's why it's so fun, because it's like two of the only true 2-guards left
exactly
going at it tonight.
Yeah, man. And I really wanted to see that. So that's the only down part about this whole game was just really them getting kicked out, and then all the texts and all that towards in the third quarter, because I just wanted to see them go head to head.
No, 100%. And if you take a look at that third quarter, the Phoenix Suns outscored the Warriors 33-20. Like, that was the catalyst, right? They are up 6 going into halftime. They end up scoring 33 points to the 20 for the to the Warriors. And the big thing from the Warriors, like, don't get me wrong, like the technical definitely swung momentum. Here's a funny stat that I noticed. There were 13 threes taken by both teams in the third quarter. How many threes were made, Matthew?
Was it 0?
0.
Nice.
No team.
I can always tell.
You're like, what is it, 6? Like, John's just throwing some random. No, 0 threes were made by either team in that third quarter. But the Suns shot 11 for 21 from the field, and were 11 from 12 from the free throw line, where the Warriors were 4 from 6. And if you look on the totality of the game, the Phoenix Suns were 28 of 34 from the line. The Golden State Warriors had half of that relative to attempts. They had 17. They were 13 of 17. So the Suns were a plus 15 from the line. Let's talk about it, Matthew. If you go in the subreddit stakeout, that's what everyone's talking about, is the free throw disparity. Was this like market correction? Like, we finally got some calls?
No, you know what? I knew we were going to talk about this, and I'm sick of talking about free throws, and it's fine. I think the Warriors did get snubbed on a few of those calls. They did early on. They were total cheap fouls, but that happens all the time.
And I just Ayton in the first 3 games of the season, right?
But then once it happens to where Wiseman or Looney or whoever, I think it was Looney setting a screen and they called a foul. Yeah, that was a foul. And then they get upset about that. It's like, okay, so if you are committing fouls, then you're upset about those ones because they keep piling on, because you are actually making mistakes. So yes, there's mistakes made by the refs all the time. I was surprised to see like the Suns were up 17-9 of free throw attempts at one point. So we're used to this. We're used to not getting calls. But I'm saying I'm on the Warriors side on this part, where in the first half there were some shitty calls, and that's fine. That's just the way it is. It evens out. It ends up evening out later on.
The thing that changed this game was Draymond Green being upset because he felt he was fouled by Deandre Ayton. And the first camera angle on TNT of that, it looked like he fouled him. I thought it was a foul. I thought they were going to get the call. And then once I saw him get up and start yelling, I'm like, he's going to get teed up now. And that kind of started everything. So I'll call it like it lies. Like, yeah, the Suns got the benefit of some calls. Finally, we got the benefit of some calls. I'm not going to be upset about it, because 9 times out of 10, we don't get the benefit of the calls. But to your point, Matthew, it all evens out over the long term. Take a look at,
yeah.
Well,
if they would have stayed in the game, it would have. Yeah.
Take a look at the playoffs last year. I mean, the Phoenix Suns, every game had a free throw disparity of like 17. So if it happened in game 4 and it went our way, fuck it. I don't care. I'll take it, man.
Exactly.
I'll take it. When's it going to be my time?
Watch.
I was excited for this one, man. Ayton watch. Okay, so his final stat line: 25 minutes played for DA. Okay, he only played in 25 minutes. He got a long rest there for a while in that second quarter. He was 6 of 14 from the field, so not the highly efficient DA that we're used to. 16 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists as well. He had the 4 turnovers because they were swatting at him. I absolutely love DA tonight, man. I thought that it was a great. I mean, that first quarter alone. Again, I mentioned that he had 14 shot attempts. He had 4 of those shot attempts in the first quarter and 6 in the second quarter. I mean, that the first half was clear. Like, we're going to try to attack this team from the inside out, and DA was there to oblige them.
Yeah, he took advantage of Looney. Looney was out of there, and then all of a sudden
Yes.
Wiseman comes in, and I'm like, shit, like, I don't want Ayton to get owned by Wiseman, but Ayton just owned his ass seriously in the first quarter. Like, he made sure to block him out, get everything that was like 50-50 balls, Ayton got it. You can hear him yelling and screaming down there,
Yes.
which was good. I'm
Tipping
not being that
balls
dick.
around.
I'm just saying own his ass, meaning like Ayton knows Wiseman, second year, you just want to make sure that he first real year playing, he doesn't own you. And Ayton did such a good job against him, really finding good spacing against anybody he was. I think it was actually more mismatches down low in the paint early on. But his first 6 points, and this doesn't even seem like a big deal, but it is for Ayton. First 6 points were 4 points from the free throw line, 4 for 4, which was great. The only thing is, it was an A+ night tonight. If Ayton doesn't pull off the and ones more near the rim and follow through towards the end of the year, like, we're going to have some issues in the playoffs. He has to work on that.
Yeah.
He did get to the free throw line. He did, but he's just still going around people. He needs to get through them, go through them. But overall, dude, I think it was a great game by him. Even to finish the game, he came out with 6 minutes left, but he had 5 fouls. He probably would have came back in, but the Suns kind of just pulled away. Which is nice to have Jock back him up, because you put him in there, Jock can help out, and he can just kind of be in place of Ayton in ways on defense and offensively. So I don't know. It was a good game, but just that one thing, man, if Ayton can just figure out how to gain that strength to get those and ones, he'll be unstoppable down there.
No, I completely agree. And, again, just being a little bit more physical through the play, to your point, is what we want to see a little bit more from DA. He's doing a lot of those turnaround kind of jumpers. He's doing a lot of the bunnies, if you will. And if you go towards the hoop, obviously you can put yourself in the N1 situation. Now, that being said, he put Looney in foul trouble, like you said, right off the bat. And that's what we need more of from DA. Right? Like, that's the cheat code that is DA, because one, it gets him to the line, and 2, puts the opposing center in foul trouble. So advantage DA. DA is already a highly talented, top 5, top 6, maybe center in the league, if not higher. And that's a debate for another time, because I really have to sit and think about it. But if he's putting the opposition in foul trouble and getting their second team center on him, now he's going to feast. It's just put a napkin on, get a knife and a fork, and just start eating the competition. So that's one thing that I really like to say, or I'd really like to see from him. And we saw that tonight. He was playing like a man, dude, out there, playing physical. To your point, he was active on the boards. He was the tip outs, the screens he was setting were hard. The box outs he was doing, like, it was engaged DA the 25 minutes he played. It was engaged DA the whole time. It's national TV DA, right? And I like that he's rolling hard to the cylinder. But one of the things that I like the most is he was talking shit to Draymond. Passive DA is an issue we've had in the past, where he just kind of goes out there, kind of puts his head down, kind of just, he's like, I'm just going to kind of do what I need to do. No, he was out there talking shit to Draymond. Draymond was trying to, and what you would see on like a back screen is he would screen and then he'd push Draymond. And I saw little things like that. I'm like, that's what I like to see. That's the Devin Booker. Devin Booker's going to do all that little petty shit that you need to do to be successful. And DA was doing that in this game as well. And I think it was highly effective. And again, a 16 and 14 game, exactly what you need from your big man, exactly what you need from him.
Yeah, perfect. And it's nice. 3 out of 4 games so far this season, been solid efforts. AA+.
Solid efforts. Yep,
right
AA+ to start the season. A guy who's kind of had some trouble so far starting the season that everyone's kind of been riding. Guess what? He looked pretty good tonight.
The point guard.
So entering this game, Chris Paul was shooting 32.1% from the field and 9% from beyond the arc, and everybody lost their mind. And a point that I've made here on the podcast, I wrote a piece for Brightside to Sun about it, how his usage rate, although it's been falling, it's been better for the team because, again, it allows them confidence and it puts them in situations where they have to handle the ball. See the Portland game. DA's on the line, with the game on the line, because he's involved in the play. It's not all Chris Paul. That's where growth occurs, right? But tonight, he kind of silenced the critics a little bit. 35 minutes played, which is a little too much for me, especially in like a blowout win at the end. I don't know why what was his fourth quarter minutes? I'm going to look that up real quick. Let's see here. Fourth quarter only. Chris Paul played 10 minutes, 29 seconds.
2 minutes. Yeah.
Dude, like you could have cut him at like 6 and we would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, Chris Paul, 5 of 10 from the field, 4 of 5 from beyond the arc, 80% tonight. He goes for 7 total rebounds, 9 assists, 16 points, a plus 21 on the night. Is everything okay with the point guard? Can everyone kind of like pump the brakes a little bit? Is it okay to do that?
Yeah, yeah. No, I was okay, but yeah,
Okay.
I think everyone can kind of see how the usage percentage going down, that hurts his mojo, man. It does. He's all about just doing the same thing day in, day out. He talked about on the JJ Redick podcast last year, where he's like, you have the same routine. Once that starts to like kind of hit you where you're not going to get the same minutes, you're going to come out at different points. Even last year he was doing that. It affects a lot, dude, because he was doing the same thing for 18, 19 years. Now he has to change it up a little bit. And you can kind of tell that like he's just kind of free flowing back there. The minutes are there, but he's kind of in the back hitting those threes, getting to his spot still. He still had the 9 assists. I know last pod I was talking about his passing was kind of sketchy. He still had 11 assists last game, which was good, which was great. 9 tonight, great. But his passing looks better too. He just looked like a better player all around tonight. But I don't know. Like he still doesn't seem like so noticeable on the offensive end. And I think that's a good thing. I think it's really good to kind of hide him now, in a way to where, he's not doing too much. So, fucking great.
Here's the great thing. Okay. Entering tonight, he was at 15.9% usage rate. Okay. What do you think his usage rate was tonight? If you were to just guess.
12.6.
Yeah, I was gonna say higher or lower than 14.9%. Jamsters, you can or 15.9%. Jamsters, you can answer that in the chat as well. And again, if you're here and you're hanging out in the chat live on YouTube, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. If you're listening to this at another time, go ahead and just give somebody a thumbs up. If you got your AirPods in and you're walking around and you're listening to the podcast, look at somebody and just give them a thumbs up. That's what we're asking. Good juju. Just throw it out there. So Luke Fair says 69% usage rate. Blaze says higher. That's pretty much
69.
It. His usage rate was 14.9 in this game.
Okay.
It was lower than it was, but he was just more effective in that time with his shooting capability. Again, the Suns are dialing him back from a usage standpoint. So even though he had 35 minutes played, it's not the same as it was last season when he was upwards of 19% usage percentage. And that's what's valuable for this team because DA's handling the ball more. Cam Johnson, Mikal, Booker, yada, yada, yada. Like, they're the ones who are handling the ball. I mean, Booker had a 29% usage rate. Deandre Ayton had a 29 usage percent rate. Jock Landale, 27.8, and Payne 20. So that's the change in the Phoenix Suns this season. And I want to see if it progresses. And it happened tonight. And we got 16 and 9 out of the point guard with 7 rebounds. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not only is that great basketball, that's great analysis by the Suns Jam Session podcast right there. Pulling up stats live. Pulling up stats live here. There
Who doesn't worry about stats? Me.
This guy.
Unless John's not doing the pod, then maybe I'll.
Then you're just like just reading them. The one last thing I want to talk about for the point guard real quick, Matthew, I hope you were thinking of me. He hit a buzzer beater to go into the halftime. Yep. I was like, thank you, God. I got one.
I almost took a train to your house, dude. I was like, I have to get there quick and just let them know, hey, man, thinking about you.
I got to get there quick. I got to take a train. That's okay.
Well, what else do you take, man? A new Mazda CX-30?
Yeah. Take your helicopter. Okay, so who should we talk about next? How about?
Jesus, this is a nice limo.
Yes, it is. Now suck my
Jock Landale.
All right, we got it. We got more minutes from Jock. Okay, personal fouls 1. So 22 minutes. We were talking about this the first 3 games. Like, if he could just stay out of foul trouble, we'll get more Jock and good things will happen. You take a look at the bench and you look at the plus minus from the bench, right? Like Torrey Craig 0 because that's what he does. 8 plus minus from Payne, 8 from Landry Shamet, -5 for Damian Lee, 5 for Josh Okogie, but he played in the last minute 31. It was a plus 27 for Jock Landale tonight, man. Plus 27. He had 17 points on 6 of 12 shooting. He had 7 rebounds as well. And he hit 1 3, but that 1 3 I felt was
John, do we lose you? He's frozen. Dude, Jock.
Am I back?
Yeah.
I'm frozen.
Got right into it. Yeah, there you are. Now you're good.
Oh, my Wi-Fi's getting funny. That hasn't happened in a year.
I know. It's been a while, dude. Where were you, though?
What the hell's going on? What did you miss me at? Talk about
just
Jock.
right in the middle. All right, so when he first started, dude, I was actually kind of like, oh no, he mishandles a pass and then he gives up an offensive rebound. I'm like, oh no, is this gonna be like that Jock game where like I eat my own words where he's I didn't say Jock, where he's not an actual starting center in the league. I had to eat those words from last podcast. But no, dude, slow start, but he actually hits a three. He deflects. He doesn't deflect the shot from Poole, a little layup, but he alters it. Really great play. Comes back down, and then 2 free throws for the Suns. 5-point lead for the Suns. It was a tie game at that point. That was a big turning point. That was a point where it was a tie game, and the Suns were actually looking like this might be a more competitive game. And it was, but then Jock is that guy, of course, off the bench who can come in and do that shit. Dude, that is huge. Like the little things, like the altered, like Poole, he's going up for the layup. You're like, oh, this is going to be easy. But the way he just defends that perfectly, avoiding the foul and then getting the free throws at the other end, that's just something that we haven't had from a backup center ever. Like this is just, it's perfect. It was a kind of a shaky start, but I'm going to let you have your Jacques moment now that you're looking good.
I'm not pixelated anymore. I hope I wasn't pixelated on those of you listening to the podcast. No, I just like unbelievably excited about the way that he came out and played. To your point, happy birthday, Jock. Happy birthday. Today's his birthday. Happy birthday to my little brother, Paul. He's 37. So him and Jock Landale, they can both suck my Jock. No, that's really weird. But Jock Landale, the way you nailed it, the intensity he brings in, the consistency he's been bringing in through the first 4 games, and I get it. 4 games is a small sample size for anything. It really is. But I'd rather see what he's doing than not see what he's doing. You talk about never having something like this with the Phoenix Suns. I thought we had an amazing center rotation last year. It truly was a strength of this team, was the fact that we had DA and then JaVale McGee and Bismack if we need him. What Jock is doing is like steps and bounds above what my expectations were. I expected a hustle guy. I expected kind of like a maybe a little bit more physical Lou Amundsen, right? Like somebody who comes in and definitely has the energy and can grab some boards and gets the crowd going. But what he's doing on offense, what he's doing shot deterring, what he's doing from those Jock blocks, like he's doing all those little things that help that second team be successful both offensively and defensively. And again, you're seeing this in consecutive games. And through the first 4 games of the season, he has been probably the fan favorite, the best surprise of the season. And just looking for, and I'll tell you what, the 11 looked good in that old 90s jersey today, too, with the Landale on the back. I was like, damn, dude, we got to get the Aussie Suns fans podcast, one of those jerseys, man, and just put it in the ocean and hope it makes its way. Hope it makes its way all the way
put
to
it in a bottle?
Australia.
Yeah, ship it.
Put it in a bottle.
Yeah.
And just hope they get, hey, guys, yeah, you're going to get in like 3 months. We'll see what kind of condition is.
Really quick, Vincent Brown, really good point. Jock doesn't worry about making mistakes. He just plays, and that's totally what he does. Like that's exactly, it sums it up perfectly. Like how he plays, he just doesn't give a shit. And that's what I keep saying, like every game, he doesn't. He just, that big 3, you don't really want him to shoot it, but it goes in. It's like, hell yeah, dude.
The good old yes 3.
Yep. Yes,
it's like, gosh darn it. So again, Jock Landale, amazing game. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on Cam Johnson.
Lights, Cameron, action.
So you take a look at what Cam Johnson did this evening. Again, getting a start, 33 minutes, was 3 of 11 from the field and 1 of 6 from beyond the arc. Had 9 points. He's the only member of the starting squad not to score in double figures. Had 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Thoughts on Cameron Johnson this evening?
It's just kind of like he's a maniac out there running around. He's underneath the hoop trying to, grab those putbacks, but just throwing them up over his head. A lot of weird stuff. It looks like he's getting electrocuted at times out there. I don't know what he's doing, but maybe the pressure is kind of getting to him where he knows that Jay is gone for good. So he has the starting 4. And we keep talking about how Craig's just his backup. That's maybe not good enough. You know what I mean? So maybe the pressure's getting to his head. Maybe he just is taking on too much and he's a chill out. Because I told you in the first game, he just looked like he was trying too hard. So he can't be that way. But then tonight, he just looked crazy. Like he was off his meds, man. I don't know what to expect of him ever going into games. I really don't. if his threes aren't falling, everything was very strong tonight, hitting the back of the rim. It just never looks good unless his threes are falling. And I don't want that to be Cameron Johnson, where it's just like, all right, his threes aren't falling. Now he can do something else. I want it to be that way. I don't want it to be where his threes aren't falling. We can't expect anything else, because I know he can do a lot more. I just maybe wish that maybe Jay is there to help guide him and help him in that way. That's the only reason I kind of want Jay back. But I just think mentally he's not handling it right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's early in the season. It's in a role he's definitely adjusting to, and you're seeing that because he is trying a little too hard. You see it. He'll make a great. I mean, he had some wide open shots early. He was doing a great job of getting to his spots, getting so open. And then, like, there's one where he had like a 19-footer. He bricked it. He followed up, got the rebound, had like a 6-foot floater and bricked that.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's a little thing. So I feel like he's on the right track, and that's what's most important. It's like Chris Paul. Chris Paul in the first couple games, especially 9% from beyond the arc. It's not like he was taking bad shots. It's just the shots aren't falling. He's in the right spot. He's wide open. So it's just a matter of them falling. I think the same thing's going to happen with Cam Johnson. I'm not worried in any way, shape, or form. This is the one guy who's part of this core, this starting five, who's been together for 2 years. He's the first one to kind of break into the rotation, and he's just learning how to play with these guys. He's played with them in spurts, but he hasn't had to play with them for 33 minutes a game. So there's a learning curve that's going to occur there. But if the Suns are going 3-1 and they're stomping the Clippers and they're stomping the Warriors while he's trying to figure himself out, guess what? Good things will happen. Now, my question is, how did you feel when you saw him hit the ground and, wincing on the court and the tailbone? I was just like, God, here we go again.
You know what? He got right back up when they came over there. So I think anytime he falls, he's so worried about something really bad happening. That's why he's just like, wait, let me feel it. Okay, nothing.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm okay to get up. Because I think he just worries every time, because he knows he's that player now where if he gets hurt, everyone's going to be like, Cam Johnson again. It's kind of like me and my migraines. Matthew, another fucking
Matthew's
migraine.
got a
missing
migraine
word.
again.
Same exact way. And people don't understand. So
I'm gonna have to up Suns Geeker coach to do the pod tonight because Matthew can't even open his eyes. He's sitting in a dark room just crying back and forth. No, I think you're right. He's learning kind of how to feel out everything. And I'll tell you what, his backup is Torrey Craig, and he's earned his drop back, at least for now, 2 games in a row.
What's up?
The juice was loose tonight, man. He looked really good. Okay. 10 minutes played, 3 of 4 from the field, including 2 of 3 from beyond the arc, 8 points. And if you look at those 3-pointers that he made, like all of his points came in the first half. In that highly competitive first half, we had Torrey Craig playing really good basketball on both ends. There's certain things that I'm happy to eat my words. Coming into this season, I'm happy to be eating my words about Torrey Craig, and I'll eat a little crow here shortly when we talk about Cameron Payne's performance. I'm happy to see these players who I've been doubting coming into the season because I just don't know if they had it. I don't know if they're washed or not. And both Cameron Payne and Torrey the Juice Craig are looking good right now. The juice was loose tonight. Parker Hines, you know this, man.
Yeah, definitely. I think his spacing, or I'm sorry, his actual just the angles he's taking defensively and the where he's actually placing himself between the defender, it's getting better. He's never just like out in the open somewhere, just random. He's always just like between the guy and the basket, or he's just having he's basically just like, he has his arm, the guy, it won't let go. You know what I mean? If you're like playing the game where you just can't let go of a Mercedes, otherwise if you lose a Mercedes. It's like, dude, it's something valuable. He's putting his arm on him. He just can't let go. He's just always right there with the guy. And that's a defense we kind of expected. And if that's happening, everything else is fine. The threes, they're coming. Perfect timing in the beginning of the game.
They'll go.
They
too,
will,
but
as
celebrate it
long as
when they happen.
Yeah, defense is there. It's good. The boards, anything you do to help tip those balls out, it's always great to have that. You know what I mean?
I love what Steven says in the chat. He goes, if Juice keeps playing this way, he needs to have male genitalia as a part of his name. All good Suns players do. That's correct. We don't have anything we don't have Big Cock Craig yet because he hasn't gotten to that level.
Yeah.
But when that level
crocodile
comes,
cock.
Crocodiles
Crocodiles have
Craig.
little cocks, I think. I don't even know.
I have no idea. I'm not a biologist.
It's fine.
Somebody
it's
can
not a big deal.
somebody can figure that out. But again, I think you're right when it comes to his spacing, the way that his defensive intensity. These are 2 games where I feel like it was very beneficial to the style of play benefited and highlighted Torrey Craig's strengths. As the season progresses, we're going to see some different matchups, and there's a reason he's a bench player for in the NBA. He's not going to be consistent because if he was, he'd be a starter. But in these games, again, huge to see him perform the way that he did, and to get those 2 threes I thought was fantastic. And Cameron Payne played absolutely fantastic tonight.
Here comes the Payne.
Cameron Payne, 13. Oh, that was it. He only played 13 minutes. Wow. 13 and a half minutes, 3 of 6 from the field. Didn't take any stupid threes. He had a couple where he was wide open and like 3 steps behind the 3-point line, and he dished it. And I love that from Cameron Payne. Ended with 8 points, also had 5 assists, and only had 1 turnover. This was a great game by Cameron Payne. He even finished with the right hand on 1 play. And I thought it was, I honestly think, and this is something that I wrote in my notes, and tell me if I'm, if you're noticing this. 1, he's confident and engaged. And the key word there is confident. Because when he's not confident, we've seen it, right? Like he hangs his head. Yeah, Low Sun says it. His Payne hustle is back. When he's not confident, he hangs his head, and then it kind of it throughout the game, and it gets worse and worse, if you will. But I think playing with Jock Landale has really done a good job of opening his ability. Jock has a gravity to him. And because he's down there and he's pounding in the paint, guess what? Because Payne's so quick, he can beat his defender off the dribble. And then you got a guy who's got to make a business decision. Am I going to go after Cameron Payne and try to block his shot? And if I do, I'm going to dish it to Jock Landale. And if not, I'm going to throw a little floater right over you. So I think that like, let's continue to monitor that throughout the season, how Jock and Cameron Payne minutes play out for this team.
Oh, I love the sound of that. I hope that's something, because that's going to be awesome, because you're right. Him and Jock look so good. The way that Cameron Payne was using the screens and the crowds and speeding around them to get to the rim or dish it off to the Jock, it was perfect. It was nice. He was actually more, I put this in my notes. He was this doesn't make any sense. He was more sucked into the rim, meaning he wasn't floating away, drifting out like a tide. You know, just, out to the middle of the ocean. He was like a storm drain, dude. He was just being sucked right into the rim. That's what everything that he was doing, passing, laying it up. He actually laid it up next to the rim. His layup, I think his fingertips maybe touched the rim.
Wow. He wasn't falling out of bounds, running by it like a Barbosa
everything
shot.
was going forward towards the rim. That's where he needs to be. And the more I feel like in the past where he's more hesitant, throws up those little floaters, those ones get blocked. Those ones always are missed.
Mm-hmm.
If he can just extend his arm and put more oomph into it, I feel like it's getting closer to the rim, and it's easier for him just to make those. I mean, that's the easiest thing I've ever said. But
on the other side of that, it also hurts you defensively when he's falling away from the basket, falling out of bounds, trying to do some crazy shot. It bricks, and the other team's heading off on a fast break. So when we get efficient Payne with that second team unit, it's highly beneficial for this team. To your point, it's not rocket science, but it's something that is observant and is noted because it's things that we missed from him last season. And it's good to see him have those things back. Correct?
Yes. Yeah.
I know you're always waiting. Is he doing a drop?
Is
he
a
doing
drop?
a drop? All right. I got one more drop to do, I think.
Okay.
And it goes last because this guy has kind of been disappearing.
The warden.
What's crazy about this game is Mikal Bridges, 32 minutes, was 7 of 8 from the field, had 17 points, had 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. And I felt like he disappeared for big chunks of this game on offense and defense. Am I wrong? Did the Warriors? No. I mean, of course the Warriors are going to try to. I mean, Steph Curry had him on skates, man.
Yeah, I mean, he has everybody on skates.
Fair.
You know
Fair
what I mean?
point.
It's
Fair
impossible. Point. You go Luka, maybe you can put him, you can stay in front of him a little bit, but Steph's impossible. Mikal, I'll admit it, I don't know how to ever really take notes about him, or
I almost never do.
I always have one sentence or something, but it's probably because it's all defensive, and I just have a hard time keeping up. I'm old. I can't.
It's the little things.
It's the little things, and yeah, he gets a quiet 17 points, which is just. It's just where did it come out? I think it was more in the fourth quarter. I didn't look, but I feel like he had some easier shots in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
He just kind of goes missing, dude. And I think someone pointed out a really solid game from him earlier in the chat, but I don't know. Yeah, defensively maybe, but it's good. But I don't know what I'm so confused with this dude. I just don't know what he is or what's going on. I know defensive player of the year material, but offensively and stuff, I don't know what to expect.
He does a great job. And again, 7 for 8 from the field, highly efficient on the offense. It was a good game, but to your point, I think because what he does is so it's all the little things on defense. It's kind of like Sean Marion, right? Like he's the junkyard dog. So you just don't necessarily notice as much of what he's doing. And that's why, like, King Paw 242 says it's like he can get passive at times. And you see that a little bit. And I think that, again, it's like, let's see, Mario Lopez, what is Bridges' usage rate too far, which I assume is so far. His
12%.
usage, it was 11.5 tonight. And then if you look at it thus far in the season, which includes tonight, Mikal Bridges is
13.5.
13.4, Matthew. Wow.
Oh, my God.
Look at you.
Oh.
Yeah. So, I mean,
what a night.
Again, like he's one of the ones who has to benefit from Chris Paul's lowered usage rate. Obviously, Devin Booker's taking full advantage of it because not only is he crushing it with his, 32.5, I think it's what it ended up being, 32.5 points per game, but the manner in which he's doing it and the clip that he's doing it relative to percentages is what he's 32.5. He's shooting 53% from the field, 48% from beyond the arc, and 88% from free throw. Had he hit one of those free throws, he'd be a 50, almost 60, 90, or 50, 50, 90 guy. He's that close. So he's the one who's kind of taking advantage of that. But again,
it's his team.
It is 100%. So a couple of things I wanted to bring up in this game, thoughts on Candace Parker calling the game?
It's fine. I don't know. I don't like three people calling games.
Yeah, I know. I'm not really a big fan. And it's interesting because I was on Twitter. A lot of people were just like, Candace Parker only talks when the Warriors score.
Yeah.
And it's something like I really didn't notice, if you will. But I
didn't know who it was.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
But I will say, like, I like Candace Parker just like I like Skylar Diggins-Smith. Like, I feel like there's some really good WNBA players who bring some really good analysis to the game. And I some of the things she was pointing out in the first half, I was really a fan of. And I thought it was a nice addition. Reggie Miller is still fucking dog shit. Can we all agree with that? I mean,
Reggie says,
you're dog shit if we have a drop for you and you're an announcer. Like, this game means more to the Phoenix Suns than it does the Golden State Warriors. What kind of asinine statement is that, man?
We even admitted it's not.
Yeah, it's a game 4 for both players, or for both teams. If it means if it means more to the Warriors or to the Suns than it does the Warriors, then why is Klay Thompson get his panties such in a bunch and getting tossed out of the game? Right? Mm-hmm. Like, Chris Paul got a tech because he was, he did a little quick frustration thing, and it was at a point in the game where they're like, okay, we're gonna start teeing everyone. Devin Booker got a tech because Klay Thompson bumped into him, so he talked shit to him. It's not like we were getting texts because we were allowing our emotions to dictate our actions. It was the other way around. The Warriors were the ones who were letting the Suns get all up in their feelings. Devin Booker broke the Warriors tonight, and Reggie Miller, Reggie's just an ass. He's just an ass.
Yeah, we do. Brunist 92. Yes, we need Rachel Nichols.
Okay.
We need the devil. The devil in the flesh to come here to Phoenix. What does this mean?
In the flesh? Oh, God.
Well, Rachel Nichols, explain Rachel Nichols
so much.
Damn. No, I always knew she was just kind of weird. But they're all fucking crazy doing that job. But all the players love her. Everyone that she works with loves her. So.
Jimmy Butler loves the shit out of her.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
All the players, they're
big fans. Other things, 72 points at the half. Good job, Suns. That's what I'm talking about, man. It was just fun to watch some offensive basketball, and it was successful. Dude. Larry Fitzgerald and DeAndre Hopkins were in attendance, sitting together.
Were they
possible comeback for Larry Fitzgerald? Maybe Hollywood Brown's down for like 6 weeks.
Is that still an option?
Fantasy? He never really retired, did he?
No, I guess he didn't. He just didn't like Kyler Murray, huh?
I guess he's like, no,
there's no way.
He's like, I've been through he's like, I had Kevin Cobb, I had Max Hall.
Yeah,
come on, John Skelton. I had all these shit quarterbacks throwing it to me. I can't do it with Kyler. The last thing I had in my notes. Let's see. Oh no, this is something. Coach Evan B actually messaged me from the He's on Fire podcast, and I had this in my notes. And this is one thing that I absolutely love. We're talking about the free throw disparity a little bit, right? The Phoenix Suns are doing something this season that was a major weakness last year. They're taking the ball to the rim. They are attacking the cylinder. And guess what? Now they're getting some calls. think of how many shots occurred from beyond the arc or in the mid-range last season with the Phoenix Suns. Think how crazy it would drive us when the Phoenix Suns would not take the ball to the cylinder, would not get free throws, because we knew come playoff time, those are free, easy points. That slows the game down. That's something that plays in the benefit of a team that shoots well and plays great defense. They've been doing that a lot this season, and tonight they benefited from it. When you take the ball to the rim, you're going to get some whistles sometimes. Last year, we didn't even put ourselves in a situation to get those whistles. We would simply just shoot, we would just shoot the ball. We wouldn't go attack the rim. Have you noticed an increase in the ability to attack the rim with this team?
Not really. I'll be honest with you. I just
Well,
really
now
haven't.
you will.
No, tonight there was a little bit of it. I think, what did they have, 42 threes last night or last game or something
last
crazy?
game, yeah.
I think they need to find their identity. I hate to sound like Eddie Johnson up here, my good old stepdad.
Yeah.
But you know what? If we get more free throws, if we can just see, if Ayton were to try to dunk on Wiseman, let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens to that team when there's a few dunks attempted on you. They're going to start fouling you before you even attempt the free throw or the layup or anything going down there, because they don't want to be dunked on. They don't want the aggression. It hurts. They don't want to be touched like that. So I think once that starts to happen, where Ayton's more forceful, then we will. He has to set the tone though down there for everybody. But it's never going to happen. I'm just saying. I know it's not going to happen. I'm just saying.
But I think like DA's living a little bit more in the paint. He's rolling hard. And the addition of somebody like Jock Landale, who lives in the paint, is going to automatically increase your paint touches and your ability to shoot the ball at the rim. And then, as I mentioned earlier, now you're starting to have some guards and some wings attack the interior a little bit more, because they know they got a guy who's already down there and looking for the ball. So they can go up and try to make a shot, and if not, they're going to dish it. And the possibility for a foul, you highly increase your points per possession when that occurs and you have those types of players. So again, another observation, something to monitor, and something I'll probably end up writing for Bright Side of the Sun about, because it's one of those observations I had. I'm like, now I need to do some film study, and I need to start looking at some statistics, if you will. So just keep that in your pipe.
Okay, next game, let's see.
It.
Let's see if it happens.
Okay.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Sorry, it took me a while. Talk, Matthew. God damn it!
I think it's more funny to see and watch you struggle, dude. I gotta point out that John is the best looking man in wigs. He wears wigs perfectly. They look so good on him. I don't know what it is. He's the best with wigs, dude.
Stupid is a stupid does. See, it's got
no.
the Bubba Grump shrimp. I'm giving a preview because we're going to be doing our Halloween episode on the 30th against the Rockets. We got to dress up, Matthew. So,
okay, I didn't know. I'll find something.
So I was on the Warriors subreddit tonight, and I listened to some of the things they said. Mama said life is like a box of chocolates, but the Warriors subreddit said Booker's not a top 10 player.
No, there's no way. I don't know if I'm supposed to react to this or what. I'm gonna let you have your way.
Is Devin Booker a top 10
yes,
player,
he's a top
Matthew?
10 player. He's a top 10 player, man. I wanted to see him go up against Clay all night and just prove it even more. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, this season is CP3's retirement tour. He just doesn't know it yet.
No, not at all. He's fine. Even though next to Monty, he looks good up there whenever Monty's coaching, and then Chris Paul's standing there next to him yelling at the refs too. I'm like, oh, that's the future.
That's the
little
assistant
coach. Yep, it looks good.
Let's see. What else did they say? I can only do the Forrest Gump voice for like 5 seconds. What else did they say on the Warriors subreddit? Not going to lie. This is my favorite Suns uni. Wish we wore our 90s unis too. How great would it be? Because I think they have those. I think they're playing with those this year. I'm really looking forward to seeing the Warriors throwbacks, but even the Warriors fans are complimenting how the Phoenix Suns look tonight. Here's a good one. And this guy named his this is his username on Reddit. Luka owns the Suns May 15th. What a cock beer. Nice
the
name.
day, huh?
Yeah, the day and everything. He said,
Mhm.
bro, this bum Craig looking like Corver out there. What the fuck? Torrey Craig was owning it, man. It was fantastic. Fantastic.
Nice.
Fuck Chris Paul. Can't stand this cunt. That one's for the Aussie Sons.
Wow.
The Aussies Fan Sons podcast. Sons
Man, Chris Paul didn't even do anything. I feel
Yeah,
like
but-
he was like, no one even noticed him tonight, dude.
Stupid as stupid does. Here's one. Hey, the Suns are looking really great this year. Luca, hold my beer. There was so much shit talking about the Suns lost to the Mavericks in the subreddit tonight because, again, you're getting your ass kicked and you're like, well, you know. So,
But the Sun, dude, the Mavericks didn't even go to the finals and win the finals, dude. Who gives a fuck?
yeah, exactly. It's like, and then the last thing that
So
they had
dumb.
was Mikal Bridges, rubber duck looking ass motherfucker. That's just mean, guys. That's just mean.
It's kind of funny though.
Is that what we're doing? I know it's kind of funny. That's why I put it in there.
Rubber
So
ducky. He does look like a
again,
duck.
and then the rest of their, because then the Suns just took off. They dogged Clay like the entire game. They were, because Clay was 0 for pretty much. I think he went, 1 for?
That's what they did last year too. Remember they were
they
calling to bench him
dude,
and all that stuff.
They were
dude.
dogging Clay so much in the subreddit for the Warriors, and then after the Suns started beating the shit out of them. Who are the Suns? They've never won anything. We've won things. Yada yada yada. So it's just like that typical, whenever you start to beat the shit out of somebody, their response is always just going to like bring up the past. It's like, you know what?
Yeah.
You didn't beat us tonight, and that's the only game I gave a shit about. So how about that?
Frustrating. Leave it alone.
Mama said. Stupid. This has been the subreddit stakeout.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Whew. Having hair is a thing.
Well, when you wear it that way, yeah.
Jesus Christ. I'm like, it's like in my teeth. Like, what the fuck? Oh, I can't wait till Halloween. I got to wear a wig all goddamn day. Anything else that we didn't talk about on this, Matthew, before we start talking about our next game? Anything at all?
Let me go through my notes. Actually, Lee's been kind of missing. He's been the last 2 games. So I think Lee is actually the guy where he's a really good guy, really good player against a really bad team. So that's what we're going to see a lot this year, maybe.
But you need that guy, right?
We need that guy. Shamit still looked pretty good tonight. So those are the 2 guys.
Yeah, Landry 1 for 2, 2 points.
Just defensively.
Damian Lee,
not fucking
defensively, and Damian Lee 2 for 5 for 5 points. But again, both of them played solid defense, in my opinion. I thought they were really valuable. All right, up next for the Phoenix Suns, Friday. Wow, we get like 2 nights off of doing the pod. That's good.
Are you serious?
Yeah. What are we gonna do? Go to the zoo or something? I have no idea.
Yep.
We play the Pelicans on Friday. We'll once again be wearing the sunburst jerseys. We will be playing the Pelicans, a team that tonight was without Brandon Ingram, without Zion, and without Herb Jones. We don't know the status of. I think what's Brandon Ingram? Is it COVID?
Oh, I'm not sure. I didn't see the reasons why. I saw they were out, so I didn't see why. I know they still won though. They still beat the Mavericks.
Yeah, they still beat the Mavericks. So again, it's a weird season to begin.
Game 7 though.
Yeah, but I mean, Luca owns the Sun May 15th. Let me just go ahead and make that my fucking profile name on Reddit, you clown. But you take a look. If their injury report tonight, Brandon Ingram was out. He had a concussion. He was out with a concussion. Herb Jones day to day with a knee. Kerry Lewis Jr. day to day with a knee, and then Zion Williamson day to day with a hip. So he was questionable for tonight's game. So we'll see. We got 3 nights until we play this team at home. It's hard to predict what this game's going to be, but I will say, brightsideofthesun.com, I put together a weekly article called Center of the Sun. I talk about the previous week. I talk about the upcoming week. And I said that the Suns would go 2-1 this week. I said they beat the Warriors. They lose to the Pelicans. They beat the Rockets. I'm sticking to that. I feel like after everything that kind of happened in this game, this might be a letdown game. And again, this is a team that when we talk about finesse, the Suns can beat the finesse teams really well because we can play with finesse. When you got teams with size, they're a little bit more of a challenge. Just see the Portland game, right? See what Yusuf Nurkic did to us. Jonas Valanciunas is the same kind of player. DA has a hard time against those kind of players. So if they win the battle of the boards, they win that game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I want to see it full strength though. I think if it's full strength where Zion and Ingram are playing, and I think Ingram got a concussion going too hard into the bong or something, like just hitting his head.
Yeah.
Or...
Well, that's what happens if you're sitting it and you're trying to pull the stem too fast. You hit your head on the top of the bong. You get concussed. He probably has a black eye too.
Yeah. If they're full, if the Pelicans have a full healthy roster, Suns will win this game. I think if it's not, it'll be maybe closer. Just because I think the Suns, they're not out to prove anything. But I just after last season,
well, I mean the Pelicans want this game more than the Suns do.
Yeah, let's do this all season long. I can't wait. It's gonna be great.
Reggie. Shut up. I do want to thank YouTubers in the chat. He just proved my point. Clay, we have 4. What about you? Typical Warriors fans showing up in the chat to talk about all their rings from previous seasons. Yeah, we don't have any. So what? We beat you tonight.
Trying to get one.
Yeah, we just want one. And we beat you tonight. So I mean that counts for something, right? Like we beat you
It's
tonight,
all about this year, not last year anymore. Yeah, that's the way it is.
But if we're gonna live on the past, we can live on the past. I'll tell you what, man, if Suns fans ever won a championship, we would never live that shit down. And I want that so bad. Yeah. All right. Anything else, Matthew, before we get out of here tonight?
Nothing great. Something crossed my mind, but I'll let that one go.
Jamsterdam?
No. Oh yeah, Jamsterdam. Sorry, I've actually had to go into the office this week, so I've been a little busy. But yeah, go ahead and check it out. sunsjamsterdam.com. A lot of shit to do out there. If you haven't joined yet, go ahead and email sunsjamsterdam@gmail.com. I can send you a welcome kit, put you in there. You can bet, you can listen, you can play your music, you can do your movie stuff, you can do a bunch of random shit. You can buy, sell these cards that are virtual tokens, basically. It's very, very different, very weird, but go ahead and check it out. Whoever's living there right now is enjoying themselves, dude.
Yeah, they're having a great time. So yeah, check it out, sunsjamsterdam.com. And thank you, Crazy Luigi. I don't know why, with everything that's going on.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Jam star of the game.
How we forget the jam star of the game sometimes. We get so involved
There's
in the
too
game.
much to talk about.
There's so much to talk about.
There's too much, yeah.
But it's clearly... No, it's not Dario Saric. No, I'm not. No.
Fuck.
It's not Dario Saric. Who's your jam star of the game? Jamsters,
well,
if you're watching,
you go first.
let us know. It's Booker, man.
It's your turn.
Booker was Oh yeah, it is my turn to go first. It was Booker, man. Like we got some love. Take Steven, Jock is a star. Everyone is a star on their birthday.
That's true.
Jock, Booker, Devin, DA, and Jock, Big Dick Booker. Book from the Aussies Suns Fans Pod. Check them out when you guys get a chance. Fantastic content. Loved watching their last show. It's 2 hours long, and there's like pink unicorns, and they've got a guy calling in from the hospital in Boyd. I mean, it's fun shit.
Sounds like Amsterdam.
Yeah, I know, right? It really does. It's fun. I love watching that because it's like watching a bunch of friends. Dave, somebody gave it to Dave. Jock, Klay Thompson. That's an interesting one for getting ejected. Wet Like I'm Book. Dave King is the jam star from Ted Lubin. Not Jock. Big Dick Book. A lot of Jock love in here.
I think Jock too.
Joe Casillas. This guy's awesome. Are you going Jock?
That's super cool. I'm gonna go Jock.
I'm going Big Dick Booker, man.
I think Booker, but like the way Jock performed tonight, dude, and the points he put up, the plus minus he threw out there, the amount of minutes he played,
plus 27 off the bench.
He swayed the game in 3 possessions. Like he was a big difference out there. Overall, yes, of course, probably it's Book, but I'm gonna give it to Jock tonight.
All right, there you go, Jock, Book. That's what we got. Check out sunsjamsterdam.com. Download the Sahara Bets app, Sahara Bets app. And go ahead and place your bets there. It's Sahara. I always get it wrong.
Sahara.
I had a girl who I worked with for years. Her name was Shahara.
Okay.
So whenever I hear Sahara, I read it. Yeah.
Shahara me.
No.
Shahara Lissy.
Stop. I'm getting red. Voida. But yeah, check out the Sahara Bets app. Download it. We're gonna have Suns Jam boosted Suns bets. You got to do it. So make sure you make those bets on Sunday or on what fucking day is it? Friday. And we'll go ahead and we'll put a poll out on Twitter and let us know what you think, with an opportunity to go ahead and win some free bets on this the Sahara Bets app. Again, shout out to that boy Jerome32 for getting the win tonight. We will see you come Friday night against the New Orleans Pelicans. Matthew, say those magical words.
Go home, love your family.
Take care.